How you doing?
Good. Hey, man, how are you?
Good. Yeah, Moses Kingsley got SEC preseason player of the year. I know you've faced him several times. What's your take on him getting that? I know it's preseason, but what do you think about his game?
That's what college is all about. You know, he's a young man that probably, I'm trying to remember back, I'm getting old. I don't eat as well as I did a year ago. But he didn't play a lot as a freshman.
Right.
And now as he's progressed to a college program, he's made himself into the preseason player of the year. And that's a credit to the young man, the culture, the coaches, the environment, the league, everything. And that's what it's all about. I was real happy for him when I read that.
What do you like about his game?
Never stops. It's when he plays. He runs every time. He goes after every ball. He's made himself into a real good shooter from that 17-foot mark. He pursues every rebound. And that's why he's gotten better. That's why he's gone from a guy that didn't play a lot as a freshman to a guy that, that's put himself in the place that he's at right now.
He didn't play much as a sophomore either.
Yeah, no.
He's gotten
Played a little more, but having to compete, that's kind of where I was going with that whole thing. When he's got to compete every day in practice with a guy like Bobby Portis, with those kind of coaches and the culture of the program, fans, they always want to know about the new guy. The guy that builds your program is that guy. The guy that practices against Bobby every day, and then he's prepared for his turn when it's given to him.
All right, what did you think about the other preseason predictions? You guys were picked 8th. Did you know that? How do you feel about it?
After the last 3 years, we were picked 57th every year, and so I guess that's progress. It's we've been through this before, Dave. People gonna vote for who they want to vote for. I get it. I understand. From a South Carolina perspective, I was being funny earlier, but it's the truth. I think I've been in this league. This is year 5. The first 4 years, we were picked in the bottom 4 every single year, and so obviously we've made some progress there. But they're all irrelevant. It really means every team's different. Every year's different, not just for us, but for every team in this conference. And there's some breaks that went our way last year in the course of games. Michael Carrera jumping up and making some unbelievable shots in difficult moments of difficult games. Are we going to jump up and miss those shots this year, or are we going to have someone else step up and make them? We don't know those things. But what matters is when the season ends. To me, that's the only thing that's ever mattered. And, we'll see what happens when we get there.
What level of faith do you have in this group of people to actually correctly, or even come close to correctly predicting its league standings anyway?
Well, you guys never asked my opinion, so, it's your thoughts are yours, and we'll keep it at that. No, it's you guys cover our league. You guys have a pretty good feel for who returns what and who doesn't return what, and the style of play and consistency and what the teams are about. You guys usually get it pretty close to the truth, and I'm not. Don't get bloated on me. I'm not trying to compliment you.
That's way nicer than I expected.
I'm trying to compliment you. But at the end of the day, me personally, I would hope that this group here would have more respect for the players in our program that are coming back than what was shown. That's me personally. But it's irrelevant. It is what it is. I mean, so if you guys would have voted us 3rd and then we finish 8th, then you guys sit around and say, I knew that guy wasn't good enough. It is what it is. It's all fun and games until we actually start playing the real games, then it's not fun and games anymore.
How do you go about replacing Carrera and everything that he brought to your team the last 4 years?
Yeah, the 3 guys that have been his teammates that helped him and Mendogas grow to become who he became for our team. I don't think Thornwell gets nearly the credit that he deserves for the kind of player and leader that he's been in our program. Mike just had that flair, that passion, on top of being a good basketball player, that a lot like the young man from Arkansas grew during his career to go from an unknown to a first-team all-league caliber player. But Thornwell, Notice, Mackey, those 3 guys, they lived it. They tasted winning last year. If you remember to what I said last year this time, I told you those guys had tasted winning the year before. Well, last year they tasted winning to like be good enough to compete for SEC championship kind of winning, and that makes you grow as a person. And you know, those three guys, I'm not concerned about our leadership right now. Our leadership is strong. It's strong, and those guys get it, and they're tremendous in the way they do things and the way that they ask their teammates to do things.
Frank, how quickly does the front court have to develop to really get through this this non-conference stretch?
Why do you think I've lost 35 pounds over the summer? It's watching them play every day kind of depresses me. But, no, it's a great group of guys. I think Chris Silva's going to take a huge step forward as a player. You know, and I'm gauging this on practice, not on games, which is two different animals. But I've been around some real good players in my time. I don't think I've been around a player that offensive rebounds like him in my career, based on 2.5 weeks of practice. He's had some dunks in practice. I've never had anyone I've coached that dunks the ball like he dunks the ball. So he's grown as a player. I think he's going to take a huge step forward. But it's no secret. All our other young guys, they're trying to figure it out. This is what I'll say, and I'm very careful with saying this because I never like to depreciate someone else. But our group of front court guys are more talented as freshmen than our senior front court guys were when they were freshmen. But when they were freshmen, we won 14 games. Right. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's how I kind of look at it. The good thing is that we got very experienced guards. We got very experienced guards that have won some big-time games. So they're going to have to carry our team as our young guys grow into who they're going to become.
You talked about the process you've been through in trying to build this program. I don't think any of the new coaches in the conference last year made the NCAA tournament the first years. How tough is it in this league to kind of win immediately right after you take a job, or to kind of build things right off the ground?
That's what I try to say publicly, you know, for all the so-called very intelligent experts that think this league stinks. A lot of coaching in this league been the Final Fours, Elite Eights, and so forth, and they get to this league and they don't finish in the upper half of the league. And so it's this league's very good. This league is very unforgiving, but having those guys in the league is good for us, top to bottom. You know, I know Rick's going to build Tennessee into what he's done everywhere he's been before. Bruce is going to do what he does at Auburn. He's proven that he wins everywhere he's been. You know, Ben won big at Pitt, won big at UCLA. He's going to win big at Mississippi State. You know, Avery's a dynamic. You watch his teams play last year. Our league's good. He's got Mike White, same thing. Mike's a winner. Mike's going to. You know, that Florida team was 2 wins away from being an NCAA team, and that's not easy to do, especially when you're replacing, you know, Billy, and you're trying to do things your way. It's not easy to do, and so I'm ecstatic that those guys are in our conference, and but this league's hard. This league's hard and very unforgiving.
Frank, the league is underrated. You're right, but how do you raise the perception of the league?
I tell you, we got to win more. We just set a school record, and that didn't help. So, you know, I don't know what win more is. Maybe we got to win 46 in the season.
And you mentioned the preseason picks.
I gave them a. That's what I mean. I gave you a smart aleck answer, but we did that. But in reality, that's the truth. We just set a school record for wins, and it's not like we bombed in SEC play. We won 11 conference games. We finished in 3rd place, and yet it's viewed as not good enough. It's good enough for us. You're not going to take away from our coaches and players, but it's I think when you look at our league office. I'm not going to sit there and say they thought it was a problem. You got to ask Commissioner Sankey that. But I think going to hire Mike Tranghese and then Dan Leibowitz has shown that we're bringing some people that have been involved in big-time college basketball to help us change the rhetoric, to create more of a personality from a publicity standpoint in basketball in our conference. conference.
Does Kentucky help or hurt in that
I
regard?
don't want to be rude.
Well, and toward that end, how many other steps though does this league need to do to go from a 2-3 bid league to getting 6 or 7 in the NCAA?
As coaches, all we can do is if you go back and you study the actual numbers of all the Power 5 conferences, we've played less home games than any other Power 5 conference over the last 5 years. Why? Because we're out there scheduling hard, trying to create tougher schedules or whatever to up the profile of the conference. Well, when you take all that in consideration and you take the part that I just told you, we just set a school record for wins at the university. There's only so much we can do as coaches. You got to schedule and you got to win. We scheduled, we've won. We have 4,000 people, the first game I ever coached in our building. Now we top 20 in the country in attendance. All we can do is keep building our programs as coaches, and eventually, I think, all that changes. But our own campuses have to do a better job of promoting our sport. Our own media folks have to do a better job of publicizing that the league is good rather than publicizing that the league is bad, because then the national guys that don't come into Columbia, South Carolina, they go off what my local media guys report that the league is not any good. So then they say it's not any good, and before you know it, we got a lot of people saying the league's no good, and then your fan bases around the SEC read what the media puts out there. See, I told you I was going to be nice to them. That it's not good enough. Yet if you ask Rick Barnes what he thinks, ask Bruce Pearl what he thinks, ask Ben Howell. Don't worry about me. Those guys have done it big time for 30 years and won unbelievable in other leagues. Ask them what they think about the league. I guarantee you they're not going to tell you that the league's easier than where they've been at.
When you talk about perception,